Hello, everyone, and welcome to this live webinar on Introduction to Team Coaching, given to you today by Transcend International. So this is actually the first of a series of 12 live complementary coaching webinars that we are offering at Transcend International to anyone interested in coaching, whether you're an experienced coach or a non-coach, on foundational and advanced coaching topics. My name is Lisa Rosen, and I am the head of public programs development at Transcend International, based here in Hong Kong. And I will be very briefly introducing you to a few points before leaving the floor to our speaker, Craig McKenzie, who will be delivering this webinar live to you in just a few moments. Okay, so I'm going to ask my colleague to switch to the next slide. Okay, great, thank you. So we're a global team, and obviously doing this virtually, and everyone's contributing, so that's great. So Transcend International, first of all, who are we and what do we do? Transcend International is in fact a leading global provider of professional coaching training programs and services. And our mission statement is, as you can see on your screens, that we help individuals and organizations adapt and optimize in the face of increasing pressure, stress, and overwhelm. All this in the context of profound, simultaneous, and accelerating technological, economic, competitive, social, cultural, and demographic change, which is quite unfortunately a good description of what we are currently facing in today's world and context. Okay, so next slide, please. Yes, so a brief introduction to our speaker, our presenter, Craig McKenzie, who you're going to meet in just a few moments. So Craig is, here we go. Craig McKenzie, he is a professional coach. He is a certified professional coach at the ICF PCC level. He is a director of Transcend International, as well as being a coach educator, coaching supervisor, team coach, and Global Team Coaching Institute assistant faculty. Craig is a highly experienced international coach and organizational leader, dedicated to creating the conditions for success and facilitating excellence in individuals, organizations, and teams, which I can personally confirm working with him. His extensive experience in working with teams at every level and his commitment to professional excellence contribute to a deep, challenging, and grounded style. So now I will leave the floor to Craig McKenzie, and we are super happy that you're here, and enjoy this live webinar. Bye.
All right, thanks, Lisa. I think I was trying to get my face to appear, but it hasn't, and that's okay. What we're going to begin with, welcome, first of all. Thank you very much for coming. I can see people with many names I recognize and names that I don't. So the first question we're going to do is just have a quick poll about you, to find out about you. So we have two different questions that we're going to ask. And we'll try to make this as interactive as we possibly can using the format that technology allows us. So the first question will appear in a second. Just take a minute to answer that. Have you been trained as a coach through ICF, EMC, or equivalent programs? Wonderful. Yeah, lots of people. I can see we need about another 10 people to reply. That's brilliant. All right. So almost everybody has voted. And there we go. So we've closed the poll. Let's just share the results of that so we know that. So we have well, it's not 50-50, but there's a number of people who are coaches and some who aren't. So that'll just help us to adapt the content a little bit so that it's more effective for you. So next question. So are you coach, business owner, executive, HR, others? And I believe you can only choose one. So that'll also give us a perspective. Awesome. There's a high speed of clicking, which is great. All right, we're at the same level. So again, a really good, balance, a reasonably good balance for sure. So yeah, you'll have questions from different perspectives, and just encourage you to ask those as you can. Just oops, shifting to the next. Let me get rid of the poll here. The next slide. So at this point, we want to open up chat and just get a sense from you. Two things: attraction, expectation. So what attracted you to the content of this webinar, to attend it? And then what do you expect to learn? So you can sort of do attract, expect, and then write something in the chat if you wish. And this will give us, again, some perspective on what you're looking for. Okay, so fundamentals of team coaching, current future trends in coaching, difference between individual and group, curious about team coaching, what coaching can contribute to a team in a team setting. Was hoping to see Tony. Tony is here. Doing more team coaching, expecting to leave that Transcend focuses on a team setting. Skill set, like to spend more time on. What coaching is, if it's a career path. Helping to keep all team aligned to common purposes. Understand the team coaching program by Transcend. Understand more about team coaching. Learn more about coaching and how to do it better. Learning and hearing from the expert, an expert. Does group coaching mean more than 2 people in a session? We'll talk about group coaching. Attracted by Transcend work, attended mindfulness seminar by Tony Dickel, learn to coach and explore the possibilities and where to start. So brilliant. Thanks for taking the time to interact in that way. A few more people still coming through. Team mentoring, leading aspects, and knowledge and process of mentoring, and more knowledge from experts about how to be a strong coach, including specific strategies. Brilliant. All right, so we have a plan to finish in about 30 so minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, and then have lots of time for questions. So there is a Q&A poll place, and you'll be invited to connect with that on occasion. So here's what we're going to cover. So why team coaching skills are essential, what it is and isn't, benefits for teams, organizations, and coaches, and some of the ways that we work in this particular space. So the first thing is just why are team skills essential in the 21st century? Now, recent research that we have comes from our work with the Global Team Coaching Institute, which is through our partnership with David Clutterbuck. Thus, you'll see the Coaching and Mentoring International logo on the slides, as well as the Transcend logo. And our organization is partnered with an organization called WBEX, which has created this Global Team Coaching Institute. And our directors are all part of the faculty of that new organization that's just been started, which is pretty exciting. So some of the things that they have found recently are these things, and arguably when an organization like WBEX connects with them, then that means that it's something important. So it's a fastest growing aspect of coaching and leadership development world. There's just this speed of teams is beginning to occur, and leaders are struggling to develop, organizations are struggling to adapt, and coaches are working to make sure they have the right skills. In fact, we'll talk about how that works. Leadership is becoming a team sport. Essentially, it's no longer individually based. The age of the heroic leader is over, and leaders are led not necessarily by committee but by teams, which is a different thing. Organizations invest a lot in high performing individuals, and that doesn't necessarily mean that teams are high performing. In fact, often it's counterproductive, as high performing individuals need to learn team skills as well. And coaching to develop individuals is no longer enough, and individual coaches need to become team literate. And a big part of coaching will be helping leaders to develop their teams, develop themselves, and develop teams of teams who lead teams of teams. So the movement to teams seems to be happening. And of course, many of us right now are living in this rise of virtual teams, which was happening anyways. But now most of the working world has been forced to experiment with working virtually. Leaders have been challenged to coach virtually or to work virtually. So it's a real challenge for us to begin to understand and learn how to work on teams in a virtual way. There's an article that David Clutterbuck wrote that he gave me permission to repurpose that I'll post on LinkedIn through our Transcend team, hopefully tomorrow. It gives you some ways of how team coaching works with virtual teams, but also some ways to make virtual teams more effective. So with that sort of first section is kind of finished. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask before I shift on to the next piece. And again, just type your questions into the chat, and our team will surface them to me when they have a chance. So that leads to this really interesting question: is what team coaching actually is, and what it's not. And we're going to start with what it's not, because that actually often helps people to understand what it is. So in a very nice sort of Venn way, we have these other things that are sometimes confused with team coaching, and as you can see, overlap with team coaching. So group coaching, team facilitation, team training, team building, and one-on-one coaching. So the question that I'd love to ask and find out from you what you think is let's just take a couple of those. So we had a question come in about the difference between group coaching, or what is group coaching. So what do you think the difference is? If anybody has any ideas between, to enter into the chat, feel free to send it in. What do you think the difference is between team coaching and group coaching? Something through. Okay. Your team has one common purpose: collective success. Group can be a colleague, it's not part of the team, yes. And that's, yeah, interesting difference between groups and teams. Is absolutely key. People in group have individual goals. Team coaching has one shared goal. Yeah, we're getting there. A bunch of people, teams coming together for a common purpose. Yeah. Okay, so some very good answers actually in this mix. Very, very excellent stuff that you've put through. And some of that's very, very true. The main difference that I would say exists is that in group coaching, and someone mentioned it, there's a number of people with individual goals and some what I would call a shared direction. And a shared direction gives them, they're moving in the same direction. So a group of leaders who want to become better leaders, a group of team leaders who want to become better team leaders could be coached, but they would have usually individual goals. They're not accountable to each other for results, and they're not creating that synergy that only happens in a team. So the transition from one-on-one coaching to group coaching is a little bit significantly easier than between one-on-one coaching and group coaching. And one-on-one coaching and team coaching. So the challenge is that you're using the same skills as a one-on-one coach to help individuals in the group make their own goals and support each other as they move toward similar goals. One-on-one coaching, you're working with an individual. Group, you're working with multiple people. So then what's the difference between team coaching and these other things, facilitation, training, and team building? What offers might you have on that? It's a slightly harder question. All right. So not much is coming through. So let me make some offers around this. So team training is about helping the team to learn skills, to improve various aspects of their performance. So it's training them how to be effective team members, how to work together, and you're training specific skills in a team training kind of space. Team building tends to be focused on interpersonal relationships and trust. That's a key, right? They tend to focus on those exercises, and evaluation and feedback tends to be kind of, thumbs up, thumbs down kind of processes. And the impact is on specifically the relational domain. In team facilitation is really about taking the team on a journey. So facilitators, if they're effective facilitators, there's a agreed upon purpose where we're moving together toward an end. So we're taking the team from maybe not having a purpose to figuring out what their purpose is. So there's a fixed end in mind that you're actually moving toward that end. Or it might be to create a new business plan, or to create a vision, or even facilitate innovation on a team. So the difference is there's a clear set direction. In team coaching, we're really working on the whole team. That's a big reality. And in team coaching, we're really working with the entire team. And I'll just move ahead to the next slide and show you that. I'll just stop my video just because I'm distracted by myself. So what is team coaching then, if it's not that stuff? Well, it's one, coaching the team as a whole. So every aspect of the team. And in the team coaching program that we facilitate, there's this systemic whole team approach that was developed by David Clutterbuck through research and practiced and assessed in various organizations. So it's really about the whole team. We work with the purpose and motivation of the team. We work with relationships. We work with external processes. and external relationships, internal processes, internal relationships, and learning, and then leadership qualities and behaviors, both of the team leader as well as the team members. So it's really this holistic, systemic approach is team coaching. And of course, we want the team to create clear goals, and their individual goals aligned to team goals, to organizational goals. So this whole dimension of goals becomes a key part of teams. And then ensure the performance of the team is more than the sum of its members. So the whole idea of team is that we get this additional effect that comes when people pull together. And that's the goal of teams. And a lot of teams don't get that. So the part of the role of the team coach is to help the team become a high-performing team, partner with stakeholders, and eventually learn. So happy to answer questions. Have a thought. Here, and I'll answer one of them. Matt, your question I'll answer near the end a little bit, but someone wrote here, team coaching is thinking about the team as an organism. To some degree, it is. We actually look at it, well, as a system within systems is the key for all this. So it's environment, ecosystems, and in all the dimensions of that. I worked with a team recently, and we mapped out all the different relationships that they had as a team, and the complexity of all that, and then looked at the systems that they had, and the systems that they related to, and the systems that they were in. All that was part of the journey of the team, understanding how they could be much more effective journey. So is there any questions that come up as we talk about this whole idea of a very brief introduction to what is team coaching? Thanks. A question from Anne. Thanks for joining us from the UK. Is team coaching a one-off experience, or does it need to? Hello, sorry, I somehow just got kicked from the system. Apologies for that. So did any questions come in while I was booted off? I can't see the history, which makes my life easier. But we go to performance and beyond performance. So very often we talk about high-performing teams. Actually, sorry. I was in the process of answering a question from Anne. Apologies, let me go back. Is it a one-of experience, or is it not? Well, team coaching is a process. So the way we work with teams is actually quite a complex engagement. So that's a whole process. It involves a scoping phase, diagnosis, which is more of a consultant type approach. And then once that's arrived at, we contract with the team and begin the team coaching process. And that can involve coaching the team leader and the team, coaching team members, as well as the team leader and the team. So very often it's quite a comprehensive a comprehensive systemic process. And normally we would mean that as a year-long type of engagement is what that would be, at least. So a team that we're working with right now, we're doing 6 sessions with them, including diagnostics, etc. Question from Dennis as well is team he asked it in a statement, but he sent it as a question, so let me adjust it a bit. So team coaching like a process of engaging all the things of team building, team training, team facilitation together? And Dennis, yes. In the team coaches toolkit are all the skills of coaching, facilitation, team building, team training. That's a massive part of it. And when an organization commits to team coaching, yes, indeed, it is a big commitment for the whole organization. Great interaction and feedback. So what else happens? Performance and beyond. So we do talk a lot about high-performing teams, but it goes beyond that. So team performance is about how and what we deliver now, short-term, long-term, to all stakeholders. Capability is about constantly innovating products and process, improving relationships, partnerships for medium to long-term. And capacity is about adaptive capacity, about future fitting, co-creating more values, working smarter, delivering beyond, and also about a key aspect of it, which is becoming a learning team. So that's the end of that section, and I'm happy, again, just send your questions in as you do, and we'll talk a little bit about the benefits of developing team coaching skills. And this will be focused for coaches, for leaders, for managers, and L&D professionals as well. So what are some of the benefits of developing team coaching skills? Well, it's about adding to your individual skill set. Most leaders that we work with are leading teams, are on teams, or both. Most coaches are coaching people who lead teams or are team members. And one of the most frequent issues that leaders are asking is, how do I lead and develop my team? So that's really a huge thing right now. And also, this whole idea of team literacy is coming up so much more as teams are becoming so vital to organization success, that to coach leaders or to coach in organizations or to lead in the 21st century, there needs to be a level of team literacy and being able to be skilled in this area. We work with a team right now who, in their organization, the whole organization wants to move to distributed trust, flattening their organization completely, and really trying to create this distributed leadership in an organization. It's a total shift from a hierarchical organization, but they feel it's essential to be adaptive and innovative in the emerging world. So every leader in that organization has to learn how to do this. It's global. They're employing coaches and team coaches in countries all over the world. And the challenge is massive for them. Question came in, is team coaching top down versus bottom up? Is it a human resources thing, or is it staff, or is it beyond? Our experience with organizations is that it often tends to be a top-down, head office thing, as the case I just mentioned, where the global organization is shifting. So they're basically rolling it out globally, and countries and country managers need to develop, find ways to adopt this new way and adapt. At the same time, we have another client who has felt the value of teams, moved to an organization that didn't appreciate it, but leveraged her functional budget for training into team coaching because she wants to be the leader in the organization in terms of demonstrating the value of team. So it's actually a bit of bottom up in her case. Another organization we work with, they're quite large. One of the larger companies we work with is they're actually looking at their internal coaches, shifting them to be team coaches because of all the challenges of team conflict and team issues that they're dealing with in an individual way. So the move from HR is to say, if we can help teams to be more functional, then it actually changes our workload to some ways as well. So hopefully that answers that great question. And do we need more team coaches? What's the demand? It's massive demand. I'm trying to remember the number that David Clutterbuck and Peter Hawkins, the two sort of leaders in this globally, has. It's a massive demand. I'm thinking it's like 158,000. The estimation is that team coaches in the next 10 years, and a large part of that will be in Asia. And that's partly because there's such a massive employment grouping in Asia, but a lot of innovation as well as R&D, as well as production is done here, and that's moving to teams as well. And the demand is across the board as well. So as another question came in, education, engineering, finance, manufacturing. Our experience is that it's everything. Communication, pharmaceutical, group companies, so companies that have multi-disciplines, companies are trying to create the shift, and companies that are moving to digitization. Any organizations that's talking about digitization, in order for that to happen effectively, they need to distribute trust. They need to create adaptive, usually cross-disciplinary teams, and that's a challenge, especially for hierarchical organizations. All right. So, wow, tons of questions, and my time is running out. So let me quickly just go through a couple of things here. Another question from Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl. Will team coaching be applicable across departments? All department heads are seen as a team to align their own objectives and increase collaboration. Yes. I guess is the simple answer to that one. That's the way, again, with a number of our clients, they're using that. So the idea, and another case study I was going to present later, is we're working with a leadership team that wants to develop team coaching capability at their top team and have those team leaders lead their teams. But they're too big. There's 17 of them. So they actually need to create department head teams that like teams within the team to align objectives and increase their collaboration. But the wonderful challenge of it is that there's so many teams that so many layers to it, because they as we started to map out again their relationships and the teams they were on, we were surprised how many connections they actually had. And it was actually a challenge for them to figure out which were the main teams that they were a part of. But then it also led the leadership, the CEO, to say that it made the team coaching intervention so much more important, because it was creating this alignment at the very top level that could then be distributed through all these teams. So it was a very, definitely it was across all departments, across all functions. Did I skip something? I did. Wait, let me skip something. Here. So here's some challenges that coaches are facing. So insourcing. There is a massive rise in internal coaching. That's definitely there. Massive coaching to more and more organizations are training coaches, and internal coaching is growing massively. And internal coaches that are skilled are learning team coaching. In a recent study, 188 companies surveyed, they all said that they would be spending less money on external coaching in the next 10 years. There's also the rise of AI coaching, artificial intelligence. There's a question, we won't go into massive depth on it, but essentially, recently there's an AI coaching bot that completed passed a coaching assessment in competition with human coaches. So it's very real thing. So this would be like apps that are coaching, and bots that are essentially trained to recognize human emotions and questions, and of course have question banks, etc. So there's a rise in this. Coaching on demand is another movement where it's basically, when you need a coach, coaches are available. So coaches are commoditized by organizations, and they're just on demand. So you need a coach, here's a specialist in this area, and there's these one-of or very short relationships that are happening. And then millennial styles. Peer coaching and self-coaching is a part of what's emerging. And again, a skilled team coach will use those elements within their coaching interventions. All right. Okay. So let me just check some questions quickly. Can team coaching help me communicate better? Yeah, I might have to chat with you, Mahesh, about that personally to see, because it's a very specific question. But in the context that you're describing in your business, definitely within groups you can create team coaching cohorts. But again, it has to be a real team, and part of the program is helping you understand what that is and helping groups become teams if they want to be. Another question about internal coaching. Wouldn't employees be reluctant to be coached by a colleague? Yes, it depends on the topic and the level of trust, and also the skill of the coach. So internal coaches that are coaching within organizations have to navigate different trust issues. And then the levels and types of topics will be different as well. Another question, are team members tending to be less open in team coaching? Again, this is a skill that we need to develop as team coaches. How do we help people to be honest? How do we raise the level of trust on a team so that people are willing? And again, there's dynamics. So we simply say this, like if I coach one person, the relationship dynamics are three. There's my relationship with myself, their relationship with themselves, and our relationship with each other. If there's 6 people on a team, there's 36 relational dynamics. Add a team coach, and that's 49. We prefer to work in pairs, so you add more. There's a massive amount of complexity, and part of the role of the team coach is to help deal with those elephants in the room, the challenges of trust, the reactive behavior on behalf of the leader, people clamoring to win over each other. All those team culture issues are part of what we bring, what we address, because they get in the way of team effectiveness. Another question from Yvonne. Will it have to be done over again if there's turnover within the team, or will the effect be generic? So this is the part where we talk about more than team. We talk about developing a high performance learning team. So one of the ultimate outcomes in team coaching is that the team becomes skilled at learning. So it learns itself, it coaches itself eventually, is the goal of team coaching. So more knowledge is retained in the team coaching process, because that's partly what we're in the business of doing as team coaches, is helping the team develop a learning culture and track and grow. Hopefully that answers your question, Yvonne. Yeah, we're creating a culture of learning and psychological safety. Let me pause to just take a drink. And another question that's coming from Anne. How do you ensure that a team member does not get punished for something they bring into team coaching when the facilitator is absent? So I'll just, first of all, shift your use of language. When the team coach is absent. So this whole system that exists within the team of rewards and punishments is part of what we talk about. But one of the key skills of a coach is contracting. So part of the contracting process with the team leader, with the individual team members, includes, we talk about this basic thing, that how do we create a psychological safe environment, and how do we create a culture of learning? How do we develop a team growth mindset? Becomes part of the requirements for team coaching to work. And the other sort of answer to that includes is that this is partly why we work in teams as team coaches. Sometimes we need to pull a team member or a team leader out and help them work through something. Sometimes we need to work with team members. And very often, for a holistic environment, there is this sense of where we coach. So we're doing with a team in China right now. The team leader is being coached by myself. The team is being coached by myself. And the 5-6 individuals in the team are being coached by coaches that are Transcend partners in Shanghai as individuals. That they're not being coached for their own goals, they're being coached on how they need to develop in order to help achieve the team goal. So it's quite a challenging thing. All right, great questions. Let me just quickly, well, I did go through case studies, so we're okay. So here's how we help people on the journey. So Transcend is involved in a lot of different interventions for organizations and individuals, focused primarily on coaching. But as you've seen from the chat, that we also have a lot of work in mindfulness and resilience as well, emotional intelligence. But essentially, we coach training is part of the journey. So we have certification programs for coaches at all levels. We help journey through accreditation with the International Coach Federation, European Mentoring Coaching Council. We're the only dual accredited program in this region and one of the few in the world. We also provide coaching supervision, team coaching supervision, and mentor coaching to help people continue their development as well as achieve credentials. And then we offer advanced programs like team coaching, which does require some foundation in coaching. And if you're curious if you qualify or not, please talk to us. We're happy to help you understand that. And then also transformational coaching. So from our perspective, we train our coaches to cultivate skill across the whole dimension of coaching, from helping people develop skills all the way through to deep transformation at their enduring core levels. So all that is there. So that's how we help that. And team coaching. Question from Dennis that came through is big and valuable and profound for the business success. How do you align when there are differences in values? And how long does it take to get the entire team together to align and become one? So we look for commonalities as a way that we do that. One of the key pillars of the team coaching process is purpose and motivation. With the team I'm working with in China right now, we actually worked on values. We worked on values as a team. So we had them work on individual values. We then worked on creating a shared pool of values for their top team, and then facilitated a process where that was then shared with their team members, and feedback loops were created so that we could then come up with values for that whole functional area of the organization, which became the foundation for the team building after that. So again, it's values is something we work with. So all this stuff is stuff we'd work with. How long does it take? It depends. Again, it really depends. I would just say this: as long as it takes, it's still faster than never being aligned. So once the team understands what it's about, and they learn that alignment is in service of their individual and shared goals, then actually it can happen quite quickly. And that's what happened with the Shanghai team that I work with right now. Is there was a lot of individual agendas, but through the team coaching diagnosis process, interviews, relationship building, individual coaching, those individual agendas became absorbed into a much larger agenda of the team. And also in their organization, it was inevitable that they needed to change. And they captured the vision of being the first team in that organization to adopt the global standard in China. So they had that vision, which compelled them to make changes. All right, so this, I've already talked about this, where we coach the team leader and team members. We're coaching a China leadership team in a rapidly changing global organization. I mentioned that case already as well. Another way we are working with team coaching right now is apologies, I got kicked out again for some reason. Hello, I'm back. Sorry, got kicked out again. Is integrating team coaching and team coach training into leadership development programs. So this is a way that we're working with leadership development programs that are in existence. So team coaching approaches are being used in the action learning cycles, and team coaching training is integrated into the program. So over a learning path leadership development program, we're developing both the capacity of them to understand what it means to be on a true team, but also how to develop their own teams as leaders in an organization. So that's a powerful application. And of course, a big part of that is helping them develop this strong sense of not so much I, but we, and who we are. And this is particularly effective in emerging economies as well. So with that, I'm near the end. I'll turn over to Lisa, who can begin to wrap things up, and then we'll take a few more questions in the last remaining minutes. Thanks for listening.
Okay. So we hope you enjoyed this introduction to team coaching. If we managed to raise your curiosity and eagerness to learn more about team coaching, and you feel that you want to take it one step further, we just want to inform you that we do have some upcoming team coaching programs. Actually, next week we have a team coaching module 1, an online program, which is scheduled on April 21st to 23rd. This is a 3-day, full-day program which will be given online, and we are offering some discounts and incentives for anyone wanting to sign up early. So if you know that this is what you want to do, then we encourage you to sign up now. Send us an email at academy@transcendinternational.com. You have it there on your screen. Sign up now by sending an email just after this webinar, and you can benefit from our super early bird price of 12,500 Hong Kong dollars. Or then you also have the opportunity to wait and sign up by end of this week, Friday, April 17th, and you can still take advantage of our early bird price of 14,500 Hong Kong dollars. And if you have any questions whatsoever, you want some more information, you would like to speak with one of us, just feel free to email, again, the same email, academy@transcendinternational.com. And yes, we hope you enjoyed it. And I believe that we will be taking some more questions. So feel free to either drop them in the chat box or the Q&A, and we will answer them.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening and your good questions. I would also just add here, like, we work with organizations, and we work a lot with teams. So if you're part of a team and you're interested in something, then let us know. And maybe there's a way we can find a way to work and develop. So thanks so much. Happy to take more questions. And I can share a little exercise at some point. Okay, so wait, I need to get one more question that I didn't answer that I said to Matt I would. Matt said in some questions, is coaching also for frontline staff, retail, as well as also? Yes, definitely. In fact, a number of organizations will use this specifically for their frontline teams. Teams of customer service people in stores are key areas. So definitely. So thanks so much. I think Matt's question has come back again. Another one, if you're branching off with different people in the team, are you in a sense doing both team and individual coaching at the same time? Essentially, the team coach has to be careful about who they coach in the relationship. So in the process of team coaching, usually the team coach or a pair of team coaches will coach the leaders, but not necessarily the participants on the team. So in our practice, we have Transcend partner coaches who work with the team members, and then I work with the team leader, or our other coaches work with team leaders. So there's a difference, but we have to be really careful of conflicts of interest with individuals. So brilliant. Thanks so much. If there's no more questions, then it's 9:58. We did pretty well. So thank you so much. And hopefully we'll see you on a program, and happy to have a conversation with you about it.